as always, this is a series of the 12 management lessons from Bhagavad Gita. So under this is the fourth session that we are doing. But as always, we like to thank our founding Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Is the founding Acharya of ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and we are reading from his purports and his explanations of Srimad Bhagavad Gita Jatharup, or as it is. So, so with that, we'll just say our prayers in short. Om Agyana Timirantasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshunmilitam Dena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. But Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, thank you. So let's start with today's session. So, very familiar scenario. So, this is a particular silence that no crowd can feel, yet it remains one of the most misunderstood. Modern culture treats loneliness as a social problem, a deficit of relationships, contacts, or community. We are told to connect more, socialize more, be more visible. But our loneliness, doing all that, doesn't die out. Loneliness is one of the most universal human experiences. And as this picture depicts, we can be in a crowded room, but we can feel lonely. We can be surrounded by family, friends, but we can feel lonely. We can be sitting up to 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning when sleep just don't come. And the strange part is we live in the most connected time in human history. Everybody has lots of reasons to get connected to each other. Yet loneliness rates have never been higher. So what is this feeling really? And why does it persist no matter how people we add to our lives? Bhagavad Gita speaks on this particular emptiness in a way that might surprise many of us. And Lord Krishna speaks to Arjuna in battlefield of Kurukshetra, not only about the war or his duty. He also answers the deepest questions that Arjun has of his human existence. Who are you, or who am I when nobody is watching me? What remains when everything external falls apart? The loneliness we feel, is it a problem to solve, or is it a doorway to something deeper we need to seek? Bhagavad Gita, spoken by Lord Krishna, offers something radically different. It's not a social solution, but it's a spiritual diagnostics of the problem. It traces loneliness not to the absence of people, but the absence of self-mindfulness. Yet, from understanding the nature of who we are ourselves to discovering the presence that never leaves us. This slokas tells us a map, gives us a map, and I will at the end of it give a summary of the mental model of the map. So let us walk through this together. So like every time, I'll just read one sloka, and then I'll just request any of you to volunteer to read the translation. Okay, so we'll start with this sloka of chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, and then in this particular chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, we can okay, we'll explain. So let's just start reading. So I'll read the sloka as always, and then please raise your hand, any of you, to read the translation, which I'll just bring in the screen right away. So let me read the sloka. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Jada Kama सर्वं पार्थ मनोगतान् आत्मनि एव मनोतुष्ट स्थितप्रज्ञ तदोच्यते. So this is what uh, Krishna is speaking to Arjuna. So let us, any of you can raise your hand. Can you volunteer yourself for reading the translation, please? Yeah. Hopefully, I'm audible to all of you. Am I audible to all of you? Yes. Okay. Abhishek Prabhu, please read the translation. Yeah. Go ahead, Abhishek Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. The Supreme Personality said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, which arise from the mental con- concoction, and when his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness.
Okay. So, like every time, we are trying to dissect what is the root cause of loneliness. And clearly, in this particular sloka, Krishna calls out, he calls out a specific Sanskrit word called manogata or mental concoction. Now, desires that arise from mental concoction are not genuine, and mind compares reality to fantasy, and the gap between what is imagined and what is lived is experienced as loneliness. So, the mind acts here as a primary engine for isolation, where being manogatan or mental concoction, it is creating a gap of what really is possible or really is there, and what is not fundamentally about solitude, being alone. It is about the distance between the carved and the received. So the gap is manufactured in our head. And Krishna mentions it Atmani Etmana Evatmana Tushtata. This gap manufactured by this mental concoction can be understood by an example. Imagine a person is sitting on a Friday evening scrolling through social media images of gatherings where they were not invited to. Before the mind generates the thought, I should have been there. The, but now he is experiencing a gap, the mental image of an ideal gathering where he sees his known persons, maybe friends, maybe relatives, but he is not there, creates a gap between reality and what he wants to see. Nothing about the external situation has changed. He is still sitting in that room in that evening of Friday where he was enjoying, let's say, a cup of tea. So this is precisely what Bhagavad Gita identifies as karman sarva kaman sarvam manogatam in this particular verse, which describe that this is all this is coming or getting generated because of mental concoction. The mind manufactures a world that does not exist, and then moment he saw that evening he was absolutely fine, but after the image he saw where a guy is suffering. So this is how our mind is kind of playing on us by mentally concocting. So we are defining the self as the problem statements like every time we do these sessions. So it's important to define the problem statements, because once we define the problem statements, we can look for answers. Let us further dive deep into what is the source of this is a situation of mental concoction, but what is the source of this loneliness? So for that, we'll take another sloka from Bhagavad Gita, which is from yeah from chapter 6 of sloka number 20. So there are a couple of slokas which is bunched up here, but I'll just recite sloka 20 for all of us. Let's read that. I'll recite that. Okay. Chitram Nirbuddham Yoga Sarva Tatra Chaivat Mana Atmanam Pashan Atmani Tushyati. So here, okay, let us try and read the translation only for the first part. So I'll again request one volunteer. You can read up to here. Yes, this is the translation of the first sloka 6.20. Yes, any volunteers, please? Please raise your hand. Priyam Mataji, I saw you here. You raised the hand last time. You can try it out.
Actually, I'm traveling, so there will be background noise.
Okay, no problem. Please try.
Okay, absolutely. In the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities by practice of yoga. The perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self.
Okay, so we are diving deep. We spoke about some symptoms. Now we are diving deep into what is the root cause of those symptoms. Why is the mind acting funny, manogata, trying to put mental concoction in our thoughts, right? So loneliness, as it is described here in this particular sloka, is a mistaken identity. So loneliness arises from illusion, the illusion that we are isolated, individual, material beings, separate from everything that is there in this world. We are unable to reconcile any common factor among all of us. And it is like uh, a mirror which is clouded by material identification, and we only see the surface, the body, the social role, and conclude that this surface is all that we are trying. And when we look into it, we don't see ourselves clearly. We see ourselves distorted or diminished in that reflection in terms of what abilities we have. And we might conclude that is what we are. And this is the disconnected thing. So this is precisely what happens when the mind is clouded by material identification. This is as Krishna is mentioning here. Anything that I speak is based on Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna is speaking to Arjuna. But the mirror is not broken, it's just merely dirty. So we can make efforts to clean it up, and that is exactly what Krishna tells Arjuna next to do. So we'll take the next sloka, which is from chapter 18 and sloka number 54. Again, I am going to recite this sloka, and I'll request a volunteer. to to kind of read the translation. So let me read the sloka. Hopefully my voice is clear now or better now. Okay, so let's go. Brahma प्रसन्न आत्मा न सोचति न कांक्षति समस्त सर्वेषु भूतेषु माद भक्तिम लभते परम. Okay. So anybody would like to volunteer, please raise your hand and just read the translation, please. Uh, yes, Shri Mataji, please go ahead and read the translation.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed towards every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me.
Okay, thank you. So let us try and understand again, like what are the how part of it. Now we are trying to, or Krishna is telling or giving some solutions to Arjun, and one of those solutions is Krishna is saying in this particular sloka that seeing all beings as equal dissolves our isolation. Okay, so one of the profound sources of social loneliness is as we know, is the hierarchical mind, the habit of seeing the world in terms of something higher, something lower, something worthy, something unworthy. But here Krishna mentions that Brahma Bhuta, to be in a state where this hierarchical vision needs to be uh, dissolved, or is better to get it dissolved. And one who can dissolve it becomes uh, equipoised, or and in this particular way he becomes, or that person becomes, he does not see in the material world something as higher or something as lower. So the higher lower positions are immaterial to that person, and the fruit of this kind of vision is prasannatma, or the soul becomes fully joyful. So we no longer see ourselves as less than somebody, no longer feel shame that leads us to loneliness. We no longer see ourselves as threats or judging somebody. Every encounter becomes a potential meeting of equals. That is what Krishna is recommending to Arjuna. And in this way, everything becomes a reflection of what we want to be. So the stranger on the street, or a very difficult colleague in office, or some stressed family member, all carry with them this divine spark that burns within them. What Krishna is mentioning as Brahma Bhuta. We need to identify or acknowledge that and think they are same, or they are in same stature as us, or we are in same stature as anybody else, either way. And there is a there is an example which is quoted in Shastra, that stone and gold generally are of not equal value, but that simply imply that one has his own place of value. You cannot replace a building where a stone is required with some gold. So it describes a consciousness so thoroughly fit that the the constant ranking system that goes goes on in our head, it can at any moment, at every circumstance, we kind of get out of that habit. So think about how we normally move around the world every day, how we interact with people, calculating who is worth our time, who is above us, who is below us, who might judge us. These are exhausting mental ranking, and this actually manufactures the walls of isolation. When those walls dissolve through this, the current vision, Brahma Bhuta Atma, everybody being equal to us, so every encounter becomes a meeting of the equals. Another example could be that, like, if there is some stagnant water which is unclean, which is dirty, if a river is flowing, or a stream is flowing, or even artificially some canal is flowing through that, the river does not become something new. Does not become dirty, but the dirty water which was stale, it becomes purified. So our uh, accumulated thinking process of comparison, social ranking, we can easily wash away by being in a state of flow and connection with this Brahma Bhuta strategy, and which Krishna is recommending to Arjuna, returning to our own original nature. And that nature was never truly isolated, never truly cut off from any community to start with. The isolation was the dirt that we talked about on the mind, on our mind, which we discussed in the last sloka. And as soon as we can remove that dirt with this concept of equality, Brahma Bhuta, so beneath it we can create connections. And this is one of the recommendations from Krishna to Arjuna on the topic of loneliness. Let's take another sloka which Krishna speaks about on the topic of loneliness. This is from chapter 6, sloka number 30. Again, I'll just try to read this particular sloka, and then we can. I'll request one volunteer. Okay, so let me read the sloka. Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasya aham na pranashyami sacha me na pranashyati. So yeah, anybody can. Oh, sorry, you didn't see the sloka correctly. Okay, no problem. Okay, it's a short translation. Please raise your hand. Anybody can raise their hand and just read the translation, please. Yes, Sabita Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
For
Yes.
one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me.
Okay, so let us understand what Krishna is instructing Arjuna in this particular sloka as one of as a means uh, to get rid of loneliness. So Krishna is mentioning here that we might be alone, but we are never truly alone. That is what Krishna is mentioning here. That that the eternal promise. I'll request everybody else to be on mute, please. Thank you. Kindly be on mute. Yes, thank you. So the eternal promise And here Krishna makes that promise. It's a very direct promise to Arjuna, saying that in all circumstances, I in any circumstance that you are in, I am never lost to you. So it's a mutual, reciprocal relationship of perpetual presence that Krishna is committing to Arjuna. And anybody who accepts Krishna as his mentor, they see it with the eyes of respect and mutual presence, mutual admiration. So there is no fear of uh, abandonment, being left alone, forgotten, unseen, unloved. Krishna is telling, if nobody, not if, I am always there. Even if people are always there, fine, but I am always there. And when he says I am always there, he is always there in the various forms by his energies, like this material nature. We are living in this material world. Everything belongs to Krishna. In Isha Upanishad it is mentioned, Krishna owns everything. Ishavashyam, idam sarvam. So Krishna owns everything. So we can see from this particular example that Krishna is mentioning that he is a friend who never leaves. So we have seen, we have known or heard people in our lifetimes who say, I will always be there for you. And when we all experience a very difficult, white emergency, then however sincere, people might, or most of the cases, they are not able to keep that promise. They change. Maybe the friend who promised me have changed jobs and into different city. Maybe the parents who promised, they have passed away. Maybe the children have grown up and have gone to their own destinations in their career. So in our entire sense of not being alone, rest cannot rest on this kind of promise. If it is resting on this kind of promise, then it is strong, they are going to be there. So Krishna mentions here in this particular sloka that that I, Krishna, is first of our knowledge, a divine presence. And this divine presence, it's not a concept, but a living relationship. Krishna mentions, Tasya aham na pranashyami. That means I am never lost to whom. And primarily Krishna is highlighting here that if we desire, anyway, whenever we are desiring, we are exchanging with Krishna our desires. Now if we don't ask Krishna, Krishna will give who wants to rob a bank, okay, or do some fraud. That's a desire. So Krishna is making arrangement. But here Krishna is mentioning that the better relationship to that is that I am anyway doing. The better relationship is you ask, you desire and ask. Is it, if it is, if it is going to not give me headache, it is not going to give me, put me into positions where I will feel lonely, then you please approve. Otherwise, please arrange. Otherwise, give me better ideas. Okay. So we'll take one more sloka and the last one for today on this, which Krishna is mentioning to Arjun. So this is from chapter 9. Let me ensure that all of you are able to see the sloka properly. Yes. Okay. Again, like, let me read the sloka and then I'll just request one raised hand for the reading the translation. Okay. Let me read that. Samoham सर्वेषु अस्ति न प्रिया ये भजन्ति तू मां भक्त्या मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम्. Yes. Can any of you please read the translation by raising your hand? Yes. Yes, Mataji, please go ahead and read the translation. Uh, Beauty Kumari Mataji, please unmute and read translation, only the translation.
All right. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him.
Okay, so this just enhances uh, what Krishna has already given a direction to Arjuna. This particular sloka enhances that situation, and let us try and understand what Krishna is speaking here. So, first of all, Krishna says, like, okay, like getting confidence, earning trust of a partner, a friend, true friend, saying that, okay, I don't need anything from you, and neither I am envious about you. So I am, he's trying to show, though he's much capable of many things to Arjuna, he is now practicing what he just preached earlier. So he earlier preached that Samo Brahma Bhuta, respecting everybody to be equal, even if we know that we are better than somebody, and that is what he's practicing, showing to Arjuna now, saying that, okay, uh, I am your friend, and and I am equal to all, and uh, this is this is the core in terms of what loneliness at is, the experience of not being truly met. And what Krishna describes here is a relationship of such depth and intimacy that the boundaries between two persons, Krishna and us as individual, those gets broken. And we can understand with the example here. So when a diamond is set in a gold ring, it looks very nice, and the gold is glorified. At the same time, the diamond is also glorified. And this is a relationship between Krishna and us. neither loses their nature. The gold and the diamond both does not lose their nature, and neither is diminished. Both together, both shine with light that neither could generate alone. So, so is like a cloud that pours rain on all land equally. So it does not discriminate whether it's a fertile land or it's just rocks or mountains, hills, or field. How many types of crops grows there? It does not discriminate. So this is the equal who into some harvest. So this is the equality that being talked here. Now let us conclude. Uh, this is the I will drop the presentation in the group. So, um, but let us understand this, because this is the mind map of whatever we discussed today. And please, if you have been listening patiently, please concentrate here more. And if you have questions, we'll take the questions after the quiz. So the complete. So Bhagavad Gita is not just giving a technique; it's giving a transformation formula for managing loneliness. See the isolation, what influences isolation, and the other side we can see what influences wholeness or completeness. So if you want to take one by one, so let's start from left, which is isolation, which is mental desires or manogata. So mental desires manufacture a world that doesn't exist, and then we mourn in its absence. So the gap which doesn't exist is equal to loneliness. Then Krishna told us about being Atma Tushti or self inquiry or inner fullness. That means through a process of concentrating ourselves on our desires, which are which are not mental manogata, which are not in mentally manufacturing, which are based in practicality. Whatever we can achieve will not give us any illusion, and we will feel full. So one way of practicing that, how I try to do it, and you can find better ways also, is to challenge ourselves. Everything we knew need not be done too little. That will give us this, that will make us feel full as self. And then the Brahma Bhuta formula, which is every being is seen as a manifestation. So we don't think somebody is less, somebody is more when we interact with them. And then the Sarvatra Drishti, that means uh, that Krishna has mentioned that okay, he is promising that he is always there. But in case we feel nobody is there, he is still there. And this will give us a feeling of completeness unconditionally. So from isolation to wholeness, from emptiness to wholeness, from from separating from things to planning for union. These are the methods that Krishna is mentioning in this particular uh, recommendation. So with that, I think we are on time. It's ahead of time, in fact. So we can start the Kahoot quiz. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, सभी भक्त वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल. Thank you very much. Hari bol.
Very good.
Hare Krishna.